What's up everyone, Darcblade here with a Hunter's Guide to Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. In this video I'll be bringing you the must-have hammers in the game. Now what are must-have weapons? Well, they are a selection of weapons that I would recommend crafting for any one specific weapon archetype. So we're not comparing, say, the hammer to the greatsword, we're just comparing the different hammers that you can craft. Now as always, if you find these videos helpful, informative or even entertaining, please consider leaving a like on the video as well as subscribing to the channel, as it does help and it allows me to bring you more guides like this for a variety of different playstyles. Now the hammer in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak can be divided into two categories. You have the strength playstyle and the courage playstyle. The strength playstyle benefits more from high raw attack, while the courage playstyle can make use of ailments and elements. So first of all, I'm going to go over the raw attack hammers I'd recommend. These also feature some ailments as well. So first of all, I'd recommend crafting the Devil's Die, which is the Scorned Magnamalo hammer. This has a raw attack of 320 with a decent chunk of purple sharpness. It has a blast rating of 34 with no affinity and defense bonus. It has a tier 3 and tier 2 decoration slot and a tier 2 rampage decoration slot. This is a decent all-round hammer, giving you plenty of bonuses, not only to your raw attack, sharpness, ailment, but also your decoration slots as well. However, if you're still going through the game, I'd also recommend the Fine Kimura hammer. This has a raw attack of 320 with again a decent chunk of purple sharpness. It has no element, affinity or defense bonuses, but it has a tier 4 and tier 2 decoration slot and a tier 2 rampage decoration slot. It's also very easy to craft when compared to some of the other weapons in the game, and is a nice solid option for raw attack builds. Alternatively though, you can also consider going for the Incubus hammer, which is the Amatsu hammer. This has a raw attack of 350 with a sliver of purple sharpness. You have a water rating of 54, but this is not why we're taking the hammer, to be honest. It has negative 25% affinity, which is a little bit of an issue, with no defense bonus. It has no decoration slots and a tier 3 rampage decoration slot. But the reason you would want to consider taking this hammer is that it strengthens Silkbind attacks, so you deal more damage with your Silkbind attacks. So if you like to specialise in the hammer's Silkbind moves that deal damage to monsters, this hammer may be one to consider. And finally, for raw attack, I'd also recommend going for the Acelia's Asterism, which is the Lucent Nagakuga hammer. This has a raw attack of 330 with a sliver of purple sharpness. It has a poison rating of 19 with no affinity and defense bonus. It also has a tier 4 and tier 2 decoration slot and a tier 1 decoration slot, which I would advise upgrading. This is a nice alternative to the Fine Kimura hammer. But what about the elements? Well, when it comes to the elemental hammers, you have a few options. First of all, for the fire element, I'd recommend the Volcanic Impact, which is the Magmatron hammer. This has a raw attack of 310 with white sharpness. It can get to purple sharpness, but white sharpness is fine. You'll have a massive fire rating of 75 with no affinity and defense bonus, and you'll have a tier 3 decoration slot and a tier 3 rampage decoration slot. Having a tier 3 rampage decoration slot allows us to use the Elemental Bane rampage skill, which is very good for elemental builds. Anyway, as for the water element, I recommend the Doomsday hammer, which is the Almadron hammer. This has a raw attack of 310 with, again, a massive chunk of white sharpness. You have 74 water rating with 0 affinity and defense bonus. You have a tier 2 and a tier 1 decoration slot, and again a tier 3 decoration slot. As for the thunder element, I recommend the Nawa hammer with the Skyward Fury Flash, which has a raw attack of 310, white sharpness, a thunder rating of 73 with no affinity and defense bonus, and you'll have a tier 2 rampage decoration slot. You could alternatively also go for the Hypernova hammer, which is found in the Thunder Tree. This has a raw attack of 320 with white sharpness. You have 59 thunder rating with no affinity bonus, but you have a defense bonus of 20, and you have a tier 2 decoration slot, 2 tier 1 decoration slots, and a tier 3 rampage decoration slot. As for the ice element, I'd recommend the Flicker Blizzard Blow, which is the Aurora Kampf hammer. This has a raw attack of 310 with white sharpness. You have an ice rating of 76 with no affinity and defense bonus, and you'll have a tier 3 decoration slot and a tier 2 rampage decoration slot. And then finally, for the dragon element, I'd recommend the Dark Morte, which is the Death Stench tree. This has a raw attack of 320 with white sharpness, a dragon rating of 52 with no affinity. You'll have a defense bonus of 20 with 2 tier 2 decoration slot and a tier 3 rampage decoration slot. This gives you more options when compared to the alternative, which is the Valstrax hammer, the Crimson Force Wing, which gives you a raw attack of 330, white sharpness, a dragon rating of 45 with no affinity and defense bonus, and a tier 3 decoration slot and a tier 2 rampage decoration slot. And so those are all the hammers that I would recommend crafting in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Like I said, depending on what playstyle you like to use, There are other options. For example, there are different element hammers that you could consider crafting, especially if you like the Courage playstyle. but these are the ones that I would personally craft, and I hope they help you out in your hunts. So, until next time, I've been Darcblade, bringing you the must-have hammers in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.